All right, this is some of the basic tools. So I'm going to zoom in on the toolbar here and show you something. Right now we've got the rectangle tool selected by default. The little triangle, that little triangle in the bottom corner, that tells you that when you click on it, there's a bunch of different tools that are nested, or they live in basically the same apartment. Okay, well, all we really care about on this lesson is a rectangle tool, rounded rectangle, and ellipse. Okay, and when you let go on one, it goes for the other there. Okay, so let me zoom back out and put my toolbar back in place by just clicking on the little gray bar. It's back in place. Okay, so we've got the ellipse tool selected. All right, and when you draw with it, I guess you can probably figure out pretty easily what it does. Okay, it's a no-brainer. This is going to be a pretty short lesson because it's a no-brainer like that. Okay, and let's go back and click and hold down, get the rectangle tool, and it does the same thing. It draws, you guessed it, rectangles. All right, so now that was just drawing. Now there's something we want to do here is if we start drawing and hold down the shift key, it's going to constrain it to a perfect square. Constraining is a word we're going to use a lot, and you always use a shift key for that. So as you're drawing, hold down shift, it makes it a perfect square. It also works the exact same way. Let's go back to the ellipse. We'll skip the rounded rectangle for now. But I'm drawing, but if I hold down shift, it makes it a perfect circle. Okay, so that's constraining. Let's go back to the rectangle. I want you to notice where it draws from. It draws from the upper left and draws down. Okay, so starts at upper left, draws down. Starts at upper left, draws down. Well, right in here, I'm going to do something different. And sometimes you want to hold down Option. You can see what the cursor does, and now it's drawing from the middle out. So sometimes that comes in handy, okay? And you can Option and Shift, and now it's a perfect square, and it's drawing from the center. So sometimes that's the way you want to go, and it works the same with the ellipse tool as well. Okay, next thing, and that is rather than just drawing, I'm going to use this rectangle tool, and this time just click. All right, well now it lets you bring up if you need an exact size. So let's say business card, I'm going to go 3.5 by 2, and now when you click OK, it automatically puts this exact size you want on there. So sometimes that's useful. So now we have this. Let's go get the regular selection tool. That's the dark one. Okay, we'll use that mostly. And so what I'm going to do here is just grab one of these corners. You can see how you can resize. Okay, if you grab one of these middle ones, it only does the height or the width. Okay, well now, so you can size it, but if you put your mouse on the outside, see how it turns into a little curvy guy? Well, on that curvy guy, it lets you rotate. Okay, so it lets you rotate. I'm going to undo that. Now, let's rotate it, and let's hold down Shift. Remember, Shift constrains. So now it's going to only let us rotate 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 45 degrees, 90 degrees. So you're constraining rotation. Okay, well, what about sizing? If I grab this and I start sizing and hold down Shift, it keeps it proportional to its original size. If you don't hold down Shift, okay, but if you hold down Shift, it keeps proportional. Same thing with the ellipse tool. Okay, so that's constraining. All right, constraining. Also, let's draw a bunch of little boxes quickly. Don't worry right now that they're white, and we'll color them later on. But if you just use your regular selection tool, you can move, okay, just like you can size them, but you can move and rearrange. All right, it's going to use. And if I just click, it's going to use whatever the last size was that I did. Okay, it's going to use that. It retains that size. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but that's what it is. Okay, so now we have the one last one. That's the rounded rectangle. It works the exact same as the other two. There it is, rounded rectangle. You can see it has rounded corners. Okay, the only thing I want to show you about this one is if you just click it, it lets you do a height and width if you want to, okay? But you can set this corner radius. So right now, let's draw with a 1/4 inch corner radius. You can see what it does. Okay, well now let's do a different one. Let's keep the same height and width, but let's do a much bigger corner radius. And then you can compare them side by side. So you can set, one's bigger, one's smaller. So you can set those whatever you want, but that is 3 of the basic drawing tools.